We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming, via YouTube streaming, and via Skype. Each one of you is welcome to this live streaming. Sutras of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, this series that is continuing for some time and will continue until all the 112 techniques are explained, goes in three series, three sets. First, we explain the sutras as were explained by Shiva to Devi, and these came to be known as Vigyan Bhairav Tantra. They were in Sanskrit language. It was translated by a Kashmiri mystic. I do not recall his full name, but if it surfaces, I'll let you know. Then talks were delivered by various masters, and we are continuing on these. So the first is the sutras as were explained, mentioned by Shiva to Devi, his consort, in response to many questions she asked, sitting on the lap of Shiva in a very harmonious and loving manner, with her head bent, looking at the countenance or the face of Shiva, she asks questions. The answer to these questions can be given philosophically or existentially. So instead of giving a philosophical answer, Shiva gives a technique. You follow this technique and you will know. So the first part is mention of those techniques, then a prelude to these, then comes the explanation. Prelude and explanation comes. Thereafter, questions relating to this set of sutras are explained. So we are entering into the next chapter, number 33, the spirituality of Tantric sex act. There are 5 sutras in this series, the spirituality of Tantric sex act. 5 sutras. So first of all, I'll mention all these sutras, give a prelude before going into the detailed explanation of these. The first sutra says, at the start of sexual union, keep attentive on the fire in the beginning, and so continuing, avoid the embers in the end. The first sutra, at the start of the sexual union, keep attentive on the fire in the beginning, and so continuing, avoid the embers in the end. Second sutra, when in such embrace your senses are shaken as leaves, enter this shaking. When the leaves are beginning to fall, they begin to shake with the breeze that blows. When in such embrace your senses are shaken as leaves, enter this shaking. The third sutra, even remembering union without the embrace, transformation. even remembering union without the embrace, transformation. On joyously seeing a long absent friend, permeate this joy. On joyously seeing a long absent friend, permeate this joy. When eating or drinking, become the taste of food or drink and be filled. Set of different things have been mentioned, although it is talking about the spirituality of Tantric sex act. So as far as sex act is concerned, it is okay. Why on joyously seeing a long absent friend permeate this joy? And why when eating and drinking become the taste of food or drink and be filled? So the emphasis of Tantra or Vigyan Bhairav Tantra is not on the sex act as it is considered, and people enter into it for wrong reasons, that it gives you a free opportunity, a license to enter into sex act. It is the process of transformation through that, and many things are incorporated in that. When it says when eating and drinking become the taste of food and drink, normally we eat cerebrally. Whatsoever appeals to the mind, how does the mind appeal? First appeal comes through the nostrils. You smell the food. Then through the eyes you look at the looks of the food. So these two things enter in the mind, and mind says, go and eat, it is smelling good, it is tasting good. So for that it says when eating and drinking become the taste of the food and or drink and be filled. I had mentioned many times, when I go, I do not eat cerebrally. I had given an example, many examples on a day-to-day basis I can do. It was the occasion of the baby shower for my niece in Florida. So there were guests. Food was served. It was the buffet, arranged on the buffet table. I sat down near the buffet table. First I went and inspected, looked at all the foods. Because it was in Florida, so not all the items, it was not basically an Indian buffet. It has many items. I looked at it and I sat near the buffet table, on the table near the buffet. I took one piece of first two dishes. So the person who was sitting next to me said, you are taking only these? I said, no. In tasting everything, one piece, the appetite will be filled. So I am first of all tasting everything in small proportions, and if the need arises, I may take something else. There is no need that this food is looking good, smelling good, so you fill up your plate. And normally when people go in the buffet, the plate is filled in such a way, because there is a small plate, and if there is a condition that one serving alone, You want to take everything out of glut, out of the greed. So it happens that many things get buried under the ground. Plate is 9-inch or 10-inch alone, circumference. It can hold certain things, and when it is clustered, it does not appeal to the eyes and it is not comfortable to eat. So, and also sometimes it happens that I will inquire what are the different dishes. I look at it first and then decide. Normally it happens that the desserts and certain things that happens is especially in a Bengali feast. Bengali feast, not everything is served or available to you one time. They come in stages. The best thing comes in the end. So I was in a Bengali wedding. The person who was sitting next to me, so the first thing came the rice and the Indian dal. So I thought that maybe so the person next to me said, "What are you doing? This is the beginning. The best things will come in the end. So don't go and eat. Fill up yourself with this item." So every culture has a different way, but what is important when eating and drinking become the taste of food or drink and be filled. Sigmund Freud has said somewhere that man is born neurotic. This is half truth. This is half truth. Man is not born neurotic, but he is born in a neurotic humanity, and the society around him drives everyone neurotic. I recall one that happens on a regular basis whenever I am invited to a function, to a dinner. So I have eaten the dinner. After that, the desserts were served. So someone tell me, take the dessert, it is tasting very good. I said, it may taste very good, but my quota for the dinner is finished. He said, no, it is tasting good. I said, if it is tasting good, you can pack it for me and I will take it home, and whenever I'm ready in the next serving, I'll eat that. I will not go and overburden my stomach. And as such, the dinner is supposed to be light. When you are eating breakfast, it is said, eat the breakfast as if you are a king. It may be complex. It may be a rich man's breakfast, because the day has begun, the sun has risen. With the sunset, everything comes into life. As the day approaches, the sun begins to wane, and by evening, everything in the existence returns from the activity to the rest. The plants, the birds, they eat only in the morning. They do not eat in the evening. So lunch should be very simple. There is no need for a complex lunch. And usually we have the dinner parties, and we never say that we are going. The lunch is used as a noun. Dinner is used both as noun as well as verb. We are going for dining. But we do not say we are going for lunching. We do not say we are going for buffeting. We say we are going for dining. But dinner should be as simple as possible, as if you are a beggar. Because with the sun, the digestion process becomes active, and when with the setting of the sun, as everything in the existence, the plants goes to rest, the birds return to their resting place, but man eats in the night and overeats himself. Dinner should be finished before sunset, and that too very light. Breakfast can be as if you are a rich person. Lunch should be simple, not complex. So, when Sigmund Freud says man is born neurotic, it is half truth. Man is not born neurotic. Instead, he is born in a neurotic humanity. The society around him drives everyone neurotic. This is the culture. We invite people for dinner. Birthdays, we have birthday dinners. Very complex. Sooner or later, the society around you drives everyone neurotic. Man is born normal, but the moment the newborn becomes the part of the society, neurosis starts functioning, and eventually it turns into neurotic. As we are neurotic, and neurosis consists of a split, a deep split. Then there becomes a deep split personality, that is, you are schizophrenic. You are not one. You are two or even more. People go with the set norms. Just a few days ago, on the social media, my niece has sent the anniversary greetings to one of our family members. So without looking into, maybe that my overlooking what the occasion was, I said happy birthday. So the person responded saying that it is not the birthday, instead it is our wedding anniversary. Now what you would have done, you would have said sorry, I thought it was birthday, but no. It gave me an opportunity to say, I said yes, wedding anniversary is indeed the birth of a new togetherness, birth of togetherness between man and a woman. Before that, man was solo, alone, the woman was alone. Then their journey of togetherness began with courting or whatever method we. Then the day they were united together is birth of the beginning of a new journey of togetherness. It is birth of togetherness. So it can be celebrated as birthday. So it is the birthday of togetherness. Anniversary is birthday, wedding anniversary is birthday of the beginning of the togetherness between two people. I did not know that before, but when the opportunity came, it was presented that way. So I did not follow the set norms, saying that I am sorry I missed. So what happens It creates a split personality, the neurosis. You are not one, instead, you are not two, instead, you are many. This has to be understood very deeply, and this is the cause of your agony, tension, or worries. Someone said, I am tensed, I am stressed. That is what, and it is considered to be accepted. When, if you do not see that I am stressed and I am very tense today, you are not considered a successful man. So when someone said, I am stressed, I said, do you know what is stress? He was giving me the explanation. No. Stress is improper use of your intelligence. If you do not know how to use your intelligence, you are stressed, you are tensed. If you know, you will never be stressed or tensed. In Trinidad, we use the word dotish. It is a colloquial local language, means stupidity, a degree of stupidity. If you do not know how to manage, how to use your intelligence in a particular circumstance and situation, you are for sure stupid. One who does not know God has given, you are bestowed with the quality of intelligence, and you must know when to use and how to use in a particular circumstance. You have a tool, you have to use that tool when it is necessary. You want to open a screw and you do not want to use the screwdriver, then what else can be more stupid than that? If a screwdriver is available, you have to use the screwdriver to unscrew that, to open that screw. This is the way. The intelligence, your intelligence is that important tool given to you. You are driving along the road and your tire gets flat. You need to use, you cannot just say that I do not know what to do. You have to use your jack to jack up the car, then use your spanner, wheel spanner, to slacken the wheel nuts, remove the nuts, remove the wheel, bring out the spare and change it. So these are the tools which you use when there is a need. Otherwise, the wheel spanner, the jack remains in the trunk. Same way, intelligence is your tool that you have to use when the circumstance calls for it. There is at the moment things that is not happening the way you want it. So use your intelligence. And when you use your intelligence, you can overcome that, and that stress will not be there. So stress is the improper use of your intelligence. If you allow this to settle in your mind, you will never be tense, or you will never be stressed. But we live in the society under the influence of the society and the conditionings, and it is customary, if you do not use the words like I am stressed, I am tensed, you are considered to be, I don't know what word to use for that. You are not considered to be a successful man. This has to be understood deeply. Only then we can proceed in Tantra. That why there is a split, or the conditioning of the mind is schizophrenic. This has to be understood. Your feeling and thinking has become two different things. Thinking comes from the mind, feeling comes from a different source. This is the basic neurosis, when there is a division between, a gap between your thinking and feeling. Feeling comes first, then comes thinking. Your thinking part and your feeling part has become two, not in harmony with one another. You are identified with the thinking part, not with the feeling part. And feeling is more real than thinking. Feeling is more natural than thinking. You have come with the feeling faculty, which is your heart, but the thinking capacity is cultivated. That is why the conditioning of the mind, it is given to you by the society. Society has not given you any feeling part, and your feeling has become suppressed with the thinking. Even when you say that you feel, it is only you think that you feel. The feeling has become almost dead under the influence of thinking, and this has happened for certain reasons. So first of all, the split is because of the gap between feeling and thinking. Feeling is natural, thinking is conditioning given to you by the society. What are the reasons behind it? When a child is born, he is a feeling being. He feels things. He is not thinking being as yet. The process of thinking has not yet begun. He is natural, just like anything natural in the nature, just like a tree or an animal. But we start molding the child, cultivating him, conditioning him. He has to suppress his feelings, because without suppressing the feeling, he will always be in trouble, and thinking will not germinate. When he wants to cry, he cannot cry because the parents do not approve of it. Now what happens? The child is doing some mischief. The mother tells him to shut up. He does not. Mother slaps him. His emotions are hurt. His natural tendency is curbed. He begins to cry. Now what do? We say, shut up. Stop crying, otherwise I'll hit you again. So what the child has to do, his process of conditioning is beginning. If you are crying and you are asked to stop the crying, what you will do? You will hold your breath, because there is no other way to stop crying except by holding the breath. So in that way you learn to hold the breath, and then congestion in the lungs begin. So what does this conditioning, what this teaching of the society has done to you? Created a neurotic situation, and because of this neurosis, many diseases have come into existence. He has to suppress his feelings, because without suppressing the feelings, he is always in trouble. And when he wants to cry, he cannot cry because the parents will not approve of it. He will be condemned. He said, and if as a grown-up person you cry, he said, you are a grown-up person and you still cry. This is natural and it is spontaneous. He will not be appreciated. He will not be loved. He is not accepted as he is. No child is accepted as he is. I recall one of my cousins. They were young little children. So everyone was fed up of him, fed up of his mischiefs. So one day I asked, I said, why do you do so much mischief that everyone has to tell you? You know, the answer that 5-year-old child gave me was an eye-opener. He said, brother, if I do not do the mischief, if little children do not do the mischief, who you think will do the mischief? My father will do the mischief, or mother will do the mischief, or you will do the mischief? Only little children do the mischief. I had no answer to this. It was a great learning. Children do the mischief, we have to appreciate them. Child wants to climb the tree, but you are creating a fear in him that do not climb the tree, you will fall down. Instead of that, come, let us, I am standing here, you climb the tree, the fear will vanish. The child will say, no, no. When I was taking my children for the swimming class, my son was afraid of going into the water. He said, Daddy, don't take me to the water. I am afraid. I said, no, I am holding your hand. Enter in the swimming pool. He said, I'm afraid. I said, no, I'm holding the hands. I'm there with you. The instructor is there with you. So don't be afraid. You just sit down, keep your feet into the water, and try to move the feet, flap your feet on the water. Then slowly and slowly he began to learn the swimming. After the fear was to be dispelled, and he learned the swimming. I do not still know the swimming because I came from the place where all such things, facilities were not available. When my children were growing, we were living in an area where one of the neighbors, they had a swimming pool, and they used to run the swimming classes for the children. So they learned the swimming. We used to take them to the swimming classes. So what happens? You have to encourage the child to do certain things so that he can overcome the fear. Climbing the tree is natural. Animals are not afraid because they do not have the mind, and they do not fall. The birds do not fall sitting on the wire, the electrical or the telephone wires, or anything. But we condemn the children. He will not be appreciated, he is not loved, he is not accepted as he is. He must behave. He must behave according to the particular ideology, ideals, conditionings. Only then he is loved. Love is not for him as he is. This creates, he has to follow certain rules, ideologies. Only then he is appreciated, and this creates a split between the feeling and thinking, and the process of neurosis begins. And then it transforms into many diseases. Only this much for this morning. Until we meet again, take care. Do have a pleasant day. Until we meet again on Saturday. This live streaming is from our studios in Trinidad in the Caribbean on Saturday, Sunday and Monday between the hours of 6 and 7 a.m. the Eastern Time, which is New York time. At the moment in New York, the clocks are set for the winter season 1 hour behind. So the streaming begins 6 o'clock in New York time, 5 o'clock New York time. In Trinidad, it is 6 o'clock in the morning. In Europe it is 6 hours ahead of us, so it is 12 hours, 12 midday. In India it is 3:30 in the afternoon, so the streaming is between the hours of 3:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Until then, take care and do have a pleasant day.